Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to look at the McFarlane DC Multiverse Batman and his Hellbat Armor, and this is the Knightmare Edition. Looks like we're getting a new subline of variants called Knightmare Editions. This is a McFarlane Toys Store exclusive. I pre-ordered it with the bundle with Ben Affleck Batman, and it finally arrived today. So let's take a look at the packaging. As you can see at the top, this is part of the Gold Label collection. A Gold Label figure is simply a retailer exclusive. Whether we Target or Walmart, this particular Gold Label is a McFarlane Toy Store exclusive. DC, the Batman logo, Batman Knightmare Edition, McFarlane Toys, authenticated limited edition to 8,100 pieces. Here's the front of the box. Now I do find it interesting, the logo they use, I believe, is the Hush logo. Almost like they're throwing random bat logos on these things nowadays. One side of the package, Batman Knightmare Edition. Other side, pretty blank. On the back side, here's Batman and his Hellbat Armor, redone in this Nightmare color scheme. At the bottom, there's his barcode, in case that happens to help anybody. But need to remind you, at least in the US, it's a McFarlane Toy Store exclusive. This is a McFarlane Deluxe figure. We have the outer sleeve. Open it up, exposing the figure. So with no further ado, let's open him up. And I did end up getting two of these figures, one of which to open and enjoy, the other one to keep unopened in my complete Batman-related unopened action figure collection. And here are all three variations of Batman and his Hellbat Armor McFarlane has released. We have the original on the left, the new Knightmare Edition in the middle, and the gold version on the right. Still hoping for a patina variation in the long run. Alright, now that this figure out of the package, here he is with all his accessories laid out. He doesn't come with any traditional accessories. He has two removable wings, a collector's card, display stand for that collector's card, and then a large display stand for the figure. Before I deload all that, let's talk about and check out the figure. So the main reason that Batman wore this Hellbat suit was, I believe in the New 52, Darkseid had killed Damian Wayne and took his body to Apokolips. Batman said fuck that and put his Hellbat suit on, went to Apokolips and retrieved Damian Wayne's body. Of course, Damian Wayne didn't stay dead for long, as almost everyone gets reborn or resurrected in the comics. And this is the Nightmare variant. It's done in a black and gold color scheme. Looks pretty sharp, pretty sleek. Let's take a look. Start with his head here. He's got this armored helmet. He has a little sort of gold line where he looks out from. Looks pretty good. He's got these shoulder pads with spikes all over him, and they totally move out of the way. They're not going to interfere with the articulation at all. Giant gold bat symbol on his chest. Gold lines going through it. Gold belt. Spiked fins coming off. Armored feet, armored shins, armored entire suit. He has some spikes on his hands for punching Darkseid or whoever he wants to. Overall, it looks pretty good. You can see the peg holes where the wings will attach. It is double jointed knees, single jointed elbow. Batman as Hellbat Armor was one of my favorite figures from the first McFarlane wave. It's kind of cool to see yet another variation. And a closer look at his helmet or head sculpt. It's a pretty smooth armored helmet, not a ton of detail, but it's exactly what it should be for an armored bat suit. I really do like the idea of Batman having different armored suits for different occasions. And now for his accessories, and let's start off the boring stuff. Here's the display stand. It's a black rectangle. It's got a peg for the peg holes on his feet, and it's got this gold bat emblem. Looks pretty good, a lot different from the normal McFarlane display stands. Kind of hollow on the back. Now for his collector's card. As you can see, it's Batman in his Hellbat Armor, the black and gold color scheme. Batman Knightmare Edition. On the back side, there's a certificate of authenticity. This is number 673 out of 8,100. And here are all three of the Batman and Hellbat Armor collector's cards. The original on the left, the Nightmare version in the middle, and the gold version on the right. And it doesn't do much for me, but if you want to display the collector's card in a display stand next to your figure, here you go. Now we have his wings. They're gold. They're removable. And they fold up to fit into the packaging. So you can see, this is the wing from one side. Put together. Kind of make the bat symbol. Here's just Batman with his wings attached. He has a pretty impressive wingspan. And if space is an issue on your shelf, you can display him without the wings, or even fold the wings behind him and make him a little bit smaller. Now I want to check out the differences and reuse between this Nightmare version of the Hellbat and the original version of Batman and his Hellbat Armor. And besides the obvious paint differences, there are no other differences. 100% the same figure, same sculpt, and same articulation. So let's take a look. Starting off with their heads, looks pretty good. We have the helmet with a little bit of sort of red for the eyes, reminds me of Azrael. Same spike shoulder pads. Really everything's the same. The black, it just has gold here where he has red here. And they both look pretty freaking sweet. Now that we've taken a pretty good look at the figure and his lack of accessories, now for his height. From bottom to the top of his head, standing about 7.75 inches tall, which can translate to just under 20 centimeters. And the wingspan, from the farthest point to the other, about 13 inches wide. And now for his articulation. Start with his wings. They can fold back and out. Now they can't really rotate up and down, but you can take it out and then repeg it a little bit differently, although it's not going to look very good. They're only really meant to be in one position. The shoulder pads are on ball joints. They're kind of articulated, go up and down, rotate around, going to move out of the way. Head, rotate from side to side. Can look up about that far, down about that much. Can tilt his head from one side to the other, at least a little bit. Shoulders on ball joint goes out 90 degrees. Up, down, around. Like I said, the shoulder pads just totally move out of the way. Very well done. He's got a butterfly joint between his shoulder and chest area, increasing the range of motion and covering the large gap that would be there. Bicep cut below that. Single jointed elbow, 90-degree bend. His wrist can rotate, and it's going to be hinged. In his torso, he has ball joint, rotate around, forward and back. Another one is waist, rotate around, forward and back. Between the two, pretty good range of motion at the torso area, especially for a big, bulky, armored figure. Legs completely does splits. McFarlane style hip joints. Rotation is actually really good on this guy. Then go forward about that much. Back not much. Double jointed knees, they go all the way back. And then his ankle. Forward and back. Rotate. Tilt, rock. And of course, toe articulation. Here's a look at all three different variations of Batman in his Hellbat armor. All badass figures. Here's Batman in his Hellbat armored suit, taking on Darkseid, trying to retrieve Damian Wayne's corpse. And you can see in the background all the different parademons watching this go down. Like I said, here's a different look at Batman fighting Darkseid, trying to bring Damian Wayne's corpse home. And in the back, we've got a whole bunch of different parademons. I got 6 of each kind they made for the Justice League film, and they made 5 different variations in the 6 and 6.5 inch lines. Now let's check them out next to some other action figures, starting off with some other armored Batman figures. Here's this new Knightmare version of the Hellbat suit, next to the original release. And here he is, next to the gold version. This one was made for the Chinese New Year, and I have absolutely no idea why. And then here are all 3 versions of Batman wearing his Hellbat armor. I personally like the original version the best because it's accurate to the comics. The new one looks pretty sharp as well. Which one is your favorite? Drop me a line in the comments below. Which one of these 3 do you like the best? Red and black, gold and black, or gold and red? Here he is, next to the Batman, the Dark Knight Returns armored Batman. McFarlane made 3 different versions of this figure. And here he is, next to the Kingdom Come armored Batman. Then, with both the McFarlane Gladiator Batman and Dark Knights of Steel Batman, both have an armored look. And now, here he is, next to the mega figure Justice Buster. This is Batman in his armored suit to take on the Justice League. And depending on how far you want to take this, here are some more McFarlane semi-armored Batman figures. We have Batfleck in his tactical suit, semi-armored. The Amazovirus Batman in his armored protected suit. Then the Injustice Batman, semi-armored suit. And the Arkham Knight, also a semi-armored suit. And while not Bruce Wayne, here's a few different Azrael in armored Batman suits. And then here's Duke Thomas and Batwing in some armored bat suits. Here's this Batman, next to Superman in his armored Unchained suit. And just like the Hellbat, they made 3 different variations. And here he is, next to Wonder Woman in her armored suit, giving us the armored Trinity. These armored Hellbat Batman figures kind of remind me of the Steel Clan robots from Gargoyles. Back when McFarlane was first doing DC figures, I used the Hellbat as the Steel Clan robot in my Gargoyles collection, but now they finally released the Steel Clan robot, I don't have to do that anymore. And now check them out next to a few recently released McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. This is the bundle that I got from the McFarlane Toys Store: Hellbat, the Knightmare variation, and the Batfleck. I bet they make an armor version of Batfleck in the near future. And here he is, next to the most recent wave of McFarlane figures. We have Batfleck, Catwoman from The Dark Knight Rises, this is a Platinum Chase variant, and then Christian Bale Batman from The Dark Knight, the unmasked Hong Kong Skydive version, and the Platinum Chase variant of the Hong Kong Skydive version. This one has a cloth wired cape. This wave is a fantastic wave full of home runs. Then, next to Bizarro and Bat-Zaro 2-pack. And now, with the Nightfall Nightwing and the DC Classics Smiling Superman, here's the Hellbat, next to both versions of Steel, the regular and the Platinum Chase variant. Then, next to a couple of Gold Label Entertainment Earth Blacklight exclusive figures, Mr. Zero and the Zarnar Batman. And finally, next to a couple of Big Bad Toy Store exclusive Gold Label figures, Black and White Accent, Red Hood, and Aquaman. Now let's check them out, next to some action figures from different various companies, so we can see how he fits in, both scale and style-wise, in case you don't know which lines you can mix him with. Since he's a McFarlane toy, they're typically the 7-inch scale. I'm going to start off my comparisons with some of the larger action figure lines I collect, and work way smaller. And since we already checked them out next to a bunch of other McFarlane DC Multiverse figures, let's check them out with some other McFarlane toys. In front of you are 5 different action figure lines, all from McFarlane Toys, all 7-inch scale, and now with some Jakks-specific wrestling figures and some DST or Devon Select toys. Here's the Hellbat Batman, next to the thermostat off my water heater. And here he is, next to some DC Direct and some NECA Batman figures. Then, next to both some Mattel and Jazzwares wrestling figures. And now, with some Mezco and Mattel Batman figures. Next, with some Mafex Batman figures and some Hasbro Marvel Legends. And finally, next to some SH Figure Arts Batman figures and some Jazzwares Fortnite figures. So overall, this is a pretty nice Batman figure. I've always been a fan of the Hellbat Armor, especially McFarlane's versions. Now the figure looks fantastic. He's big, he's bulky, he's armored, he's spiky. Color scheme is very nice, black with gold highlights. Now there are 3 different versions, and as I said before, I prefer the original version because that's how he's supposed to look for the comics. But honestly, I think this version actually looks a little bit better. His articulation is a little bit limited, but still pretty good. His accessories are non-existent. His golden paint job, excellent, no issues there. If I were to rate this guy, I'm going to give him a solid 7 out of 10, and I'm probably underrating this guy. It's a very nice figure. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say about the video, add it to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll talk to you guys real soon.